has proven himself. I believe last week he won the leadership best governor of the year. I mean, this is what we need to see from our state governors. Some state governors are even saying they cannot afford the new minimum wage, and we are seeing some governors. I believe your governor also was 85,000.
Yeah.
Yes, Lagos, and then Lagos says you always lead. Ademola Adeleke has done very well. This public service union workers celebrated him yesterday, not just for this implementation of the new minimum wage.
This channel not only feed your eyes with good movies, we also bring you the hottest and the newest trend around the globe. My darlings, sit tight and enjoy this one.
Joining us now is Oji with stories trending around the world. Good morning, Oji.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning? I love it.
I love it.
I told you yesterday. I told you guys yesterday. December is my favorite month. So this is the ginger you get every day. I hope so. Inshallah, by the grace of God. Good morning to you, viewers. Yesterday we started a poll, right? And guess what? The poll results are out. So let's pull up the results. All right, on our Twitter handle, if we can pull up those poll results, we had to basically put the state governors on the spot for this month of December. Well, guess what? Good morning. In Osun State, though, public service unions endorsed Governor Ademola Adeleke for a second term in office at an appreciation rally organized for the governor over the implementation of a new minimum wage of 75,000 naira and several pro-labor policies and programs of his administration. On fire. This guy basically has proven himself. I believe last week he won the leadership best governor of the year. I mean, this is what we need to see from our state governors. Some state governors are even saying they cannot afford the new minimum wage, and we are seeing some governors. I believe your governor also was 85,000. Yes, and then Lagos says you always lead. Ademola Adeleke has done very well. This public service union workers celebrated him yesterday, not just for this implementation of the new minimum wage, also for several of his pro-labor stands in the state. In the meantime, the labor union has condemned Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nwufuru over his threat to sack striking workers in the state over non-payment of the national minimum wage. The president of the union, Joe Ajero, in a statement said the strike action was preceded by failed conversations and notices to the governor on the need to implement the 2024 national minimum wage since it was signed into law several months ago, while Ajero described the governor's threat as irresponsible and unhelpful. Well, let's listen to the governor before we come back for a discussion.
If you didn't go to work, not only that I will not pay you salary, but I will replace you within the next 72 hours in your office. If I didn't see you in your office, as far as I'm not guilty, I'm not owing you, I'm paying you what is supposed to be paid, and according to agreement, according to everything, I am not owing you. If you didn't go to work within 72 hours, I will replace you. And I called the Chairman Civil Service Commission. I've directed all the commissioners to go to their offices. All the agencies, all the departments of government must be in their office and record the people that come to work.
In one breath, we see a state governor increasing minimum wage. In another breath, this man is still having conversations with the workers in the state.
We have the opportunity to compare and contrast.
Yes.
Two different states, two different types of governors. In Osun State, where Governor Jackson Adeleke recently celebrated 2 years in office, we saw reports of how he has touched the lives of people in the state in all the 333 wards in Osun State. That's the number of wards that they have. We have seen how he has paid salaries. When he became governor 2 years ago, he met a backlog of about 16 months on paid salaries and arrears. And he cleared all the arrears. In addition to providing infrastructure, roads, digital projects, promoting education and all of that. And, the point I made is that many people know him as the dancing governor, but they can see that there is sense in that dancing, there is method to his dancing, and that he's not just dancing, he's serving the people. Now let's go very quickly to Ebonyi State, where Francis Wifuru, the governor, is threatening workers. What is the offense of the workers? Because they say they are going on strike as a result of the non-implementation of the new National Minimum Wage Act. Well, Francis Wifuru needs to be told that it is called New National Minimum Wage Act, but it's not just that it's Minimum Wage Act. It's an act of law. That's why it's called an act. And what the Labour Congress is complaining about is that governors are bound to respect the laws of the land. And he's so bold, having a state address yesterday, or was it on Sunday, threatening workers. Is he aware that workers deserve their wages? Has he heard of such an expression before? Is he aware that this is a democracy where a governor cannot behave like some taskmaster, threatening people, saying that he will sack people if they don't show up in 72 hours? Has he read labor regulations that the governor in the state cannot just come and sack people, that there is a procedure? And this is a point we keep making about the leadership recruitment process. People who are not prepared for leadership should not be allowed to get near government house or any important position, no matter how privileged they may be, no matter how rich they may be. Now to Governor Wifuru, the best thing that he should do is to respect the law and stop threatening people. He says he has instructed the head of civil service and the commissioners to go around, like he's sending his boys around, to go and be taking register of who comes to work, who does not come to work. I sympathize with the civil servants of Ebonyi State to have such a man who needs proper education in terms of procedures, in terms of the meaning of a law which he should enforce. If he has issues, he should negotiate. There's something they call the adjustments, the consequential adjustments. He should sit down with labor, they should work out the template for payment. The workers of Ebonyi State deserve their wages, not threats. And the new national minimum wage is an act of law which the governor must respect.
All right.
Otherwise, you will be breaking the law by threatening the civil servants.
Well, good advice. Also in Enugu State, Governor Peter Mbao Monday signed a $100 million deal with Austrian investors under the auspices of One Day Nexus, a foreign direct investment to modernize water infrastructure. The governor met with the Austrian ambassador to Nigeria, Thomas Schelslinger, at the government house to formalize the signing. The governor said the investment will be injected into the downstream water sector to improve service delivery and ensure equitable access to clean water for all households in Enugu State. Ayo, Rufai, we charge the governors. This is what we need to see. We need to see more measures that are being taken for these social welfare programs. Water, access to clean water is great. We're seeing these in Osun State, now Enugu State. A quick comment, and then we take this story.
So a couple of things. Kudos to Governor Mbao. In fact, we interviewed him here before he became governor. He had been working on this water thing. Now they have gotten to a point where they are fixing the old pipes, also doing through the reticulation process. But in all of that, they've also discovered that most of where the old pipes used to be, they've built homes there. So they don't want to destroy those homes. So they're carrying, and I'm saying this because based on evidential evidence, I was in Enugu a couple of months ago and I saw things for myself. You know, and they're working at that, you know, to be able to fix the water infrastructure. Also, they're also working on, if you know, Enugu has hilly areas, highland areas, how to be able to pump across those areas and also out of town. It's a very, very laudable project, I must say. And also getting this investment is also going to help show up the potential, because when the governor came in, the argument had always been, oh, Enugu used to have water, like most parts of the country used to have water before. But all of a sudden, the water infrastructure has decayed over the years and nothing was done as regards it. So if he fixes this, good. Secondly, I want to talk about Iwofuru.
Iwofuru, okay.
Truth has to be said. I am not surprised that Iwofuru is doing what he's doing and is very high-handed. He learned from the people ahead. Is it not in this country that the governor sacked over 20,000 teachers? What happened to the governor? Did the NLC just go there, make noise, do protests and all of that? What happened in the end? So people have gone away with all sorts of shenanigans and murder in this country. In fact, he sacked teachers to the extent that he sacked the NUT president.
Well, all right.
So that's how bad politicians have become high-handed in this country. Except you tackle the political class and you tackle the corruption that they bring and the high-handedness, the country will never move forward.
Absolutely.
So people like Iwofuru has got a precedence. What you should tackle is the abuse of power and ensure that he never gets the chance to be able to repeat all of this shit again.
Well said.
And Labour should stay on this.
Well said.
Is it not in this same country that Labour went to protest against the government and said that they beat the Labour leader, the NLC president?
I think it's great that we're having this discussion, really. And, you know, like you rightly said, Rufai, Labour should stay on this. And I hope that the governor of Ebonyi State will have time to change his stance and negotiate with the workers, especially this Yuletide season. The Christmas season is not the time to be sacking people at this point. But also, I mean, we're going to keep highlighting the state governors. We're going to keep putting them on the spot. Kudos to the Enugu State Governor, and kudos to Governor Ademola Adeleke. We'll take another story. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission announced on Monday that it has recovered 753 units of duplexes and other apartments in Abuja that were fraudulently built by a former top brass of the government who is being investigated by the agency. Efcc, in a lengthy post on X, said that the forfeiture of the property is the single largest asset recovery by the agency since its inception in 2003, while some Nigerians on X have questioned the identity of the former government official involved in the crime. Let me take this reaction from Mr. Ebony. He wrote, "What is the name of the former top government official? Which ministry, department, or agency did he head? At what period in time did he head the government MDA he stole the money from? What was the amount he stole from the government's coffers? After the forfeiture of these properties, what next? Will they be sold to recover the stolen fund, or will they be left to rot as it is the norm in Nigeria?" These and many more questions need answers in order to enjoy the trust of the public in your activities. I think Mr. Ebony's question quite apt. All of those questions are the sort of questions that we are seeing Nigerians asking the EFCC. They are quick to make this announcement. I mean, the post was quite lengthy. But you know, we have seen that the EFCC, they would normally post a normal Nigerian. I mean, I did see a picture of Bobrisky after he was arrested and all of that. And we've seen normal Nigerians being posted on their website. So who is this top or former top brass government official who was involved in this scheme? 753 duplexes. Ayo.
People are speculating because, like you mentioned, there shouldn't be a different set of rules for certain Nigerians and another set of rules for more privileged Nigerians. 753 duplexes in Abuja, and I'm sure in a choice part in Abuja. I can't even begin to imagine when you estimate that what that would be in terms of money. How much money must have been stolen to be able to build this estate? The first thing I would say is that, number one, for transparency and to deter, I think there's an element of shame that comes with naming the perpetrators, except it's going to affect the current case in court, because it did say that the person in question is still undergoing the court process. So maybe that's the reason why they've chosen not to reveal the identity. But if the court has ruled that it's been evidence that the person is not able to trace how they got the money to build this estate without linking it to funds that were gotten illegally or funds that belong to the state, then we deserve to know who the person is. The second thing is that we often hear of these recoveries, and kudos, fantastic. Efcc, you've done your job.
You're watching Nolly Magic TV. My joy is to keep you updated with the latest gist. And your joy should be subscribing to this channel and giving this video a thumbs up, please.
Cover the assets, but then what happens to the assets afterwards? Where does it go to? Are they, like the question on X asked, in the spirit of transparency, let Nigerians know the full process, not just this big announcement and celebration of recovery of assets, but actually that to ensure that the loot is not relooted, because that's what that's the concern for many Nigerians, that after they find this out, it goes into another person's hands and somebody else, or is sold at a giveaway price to somebody who is a friend of the house. So the process of also disposing of the asset to recover monies to put back into their coffers is also very important, so that it's an open bid and it's transparent as well.
Right.
But it is very sad to see the greed of one man, especially at a time when people are suffering, where you amass, and I'm sure that's not the only thing that this person has done. Yes, there's a lot more. To see that when people are suffering, what you're doing with your office of trust is to enrich yourself in a way that you can never finish spending the money. Some people have forgotten where their properties are. They don't even remember what they have because they've stolen, to the extent that they can't even begin to count how much they have. It's very sad. And beyond this, I have to say lastly, we should have processes to prevent these things from happening. It's not just the recovery of assets, but to ensure that they don't have access. The process by which this person was able to have access to that kind of money, build this, how did they get that sort of money? That's what we should begin to challenge as well.
Dr. Abati, what is the process really about unveiling or revealing the identity of such, persons? We have seen people on Twitter, even the former former presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore, saying that it might be the former CBN governor or all of that. These sort of speculations, are they needed, really?
Which is the reason why, there should be full disclosure. What is important here is the people's right to know. What the Efcc is fighting is corruption, dealing with integrity, questions that have been raised by people's performance when they are in positions. The Efcc has quoted Section 24 of its Enabling Act, which gives it right to trace assets and to go to the courts to ask for the forfeiture of assets. In the ruling, in the judgment in this particular case, the judge was talking about the respondent. Now, in the court documents, in the papers, the respondent will be named, the person who is forfeiting the assets. I think that the non-disclosure is something that bothers the public, and no justification has been provided for that non-disclosure. The person should be named to prevent the kind of speculation that we have been seeing. That's number one. Number two is that this speaks to the collapse of values, standards in the civil service and public service system in this country. Once upon a time, in this same Nigerian civil service, if you took a car, in fact, you wouldn't even dare, to the office that was more expensive than your monthly salary or the income that is commensurate to your level, then you receive a query. Now, once upon a time in this country, public servants or civil servants traveling could not travel with their wives at public expense. But these days now, some people occupying certain positions, they will travel with their children, they will travel with wives.
Full disclosure.
They will even send, but do not be wood attachments.
What is that?
As advanced team, and keep them in hotels.
Please, what is body no be?
Labushwang, aka Labushwang.
You have not heard of body no be
attachment. aka side balanco. Aka side balaloo.
In addition to their wives,
Labushwang.
their wives are not, I don't know.
Oh Lord, how
they will be in different
Am I
locations.
supposed to be laughing? What does this mean? Am I supposed to? Okay.
In any case, what I'm saying is that values have collapsed.
Right.
The third point is about the human being. Greed, because of the failure of our institutions, failure of standards, the greed of persons who have access to the public till has become very expansive. And that is why you will find one human being who will have 753 duplexes.
Unfortunately.
At plot 109, Cadastral Zone C09, Lokogoma District, Abuja, for the benefit of people who may want to go there and see. And the Efcc said, in addition to other apartments, one man,
Dr. Abati has given full disclosure, the address as well.
I think I was having a conversation with Rotis, and I was telling him that corruption is the biggest problem. He said, no, our budget is not big enough. Our budget...
What happened to the money budgeted?
Look at Mr. Taiwo Yedini was saying yesterday. Our budget is not big enough. It's 31 billion. When you compare to South Africa, that is 5 times our budget. There's massive corruption.
Yeah.
Do you know how many schools this will build? Do you know how many healthcare centers? Do you know how many lives this will save?
Yeah.
So it shows you the level of corruption. But as regards non-disclosure, I will sing a song, Oji.
Tell me.
African China. Rich man wasting money, they not they see him face for cry fighter.
Come on.
Poor man wasting money, they go show him face for cry fighter. Tell me something I don't know. Rich man go de hala peya, go do pe. Poor man go de shout, awala me, make una lead us where. No need this nation to fall inside where.
Right.
Rich man wasting money, they will never see their face.
That is quite.
Poor man wasting money, now they go see if it was a Yahoo boy, they will show you.
Yes, we've seen them. I mean, this is
a was jailed for stealing a governor's phone.
Yeah.
You see,
and we saw
in this same country.
Well, all right. I mean, I guess this is what we're doing here. We're charging the EFCC, Nigerians as well, to give us full disclosure in order to instill public trust in your agency. We'll take another story. The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, has disclosed that a pastor of the church was arrested abroad for using the phrase ladies and gentlemen during a public address. Speaking at the church's monthly Thanksgiving service on Sunday, Adeboye explained that the attendees found the salutation discriminatory and offensive. So let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
They arrested one of my pastors somewhere abroad. What was his offense? He was going to speak, and he got up and said, ladies and gentlemen. That was his offense. Some people reported him. That is discriminatory. He said, ladies and gentlemen. What about those of us who are neither ladies nor gentlemen? Oh, truth.
Okay, Ayo, over to you on your comment on this story. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, these people have come again, in a church again. They are now bringing their own, I've always had this issue about these transgender rights and all of that. How is ladies and gentlemen discriminatory for crying out loud?
In some places, I think this speaks largely to cultural sensitivity.
Yes.
So if you're going into a new country, it's important to understand the culture of that country, because things have changed drastically. And I think it was just pointing to the fact as to how things have just gone, south, especially in the fact that now you have to think of what to say. I cannot address you anyhow. I have to ask you, how do you want to be addressed?
I'm a lady.
Are you a she or
I'm
a he?
I'm a lady.
I remember once I was at a church, and it's even how they encroach on people's private right to religion and their pursuit of God.
Yes.
If it's in a public space, it's understandable. But in the church setting, this is our belief. So it's also, their freedom is an attack on religious freedom.
Yes.
That's the irony of it.
That's what I meant. Imposing those transgender rights on people, really. I mean, it was said, Ayo. I'd like to take this story. Well, in a shocking development, a University of Benin graduate, Akakpo Ogone Ochuku, revealed in a post on X that he received a 5,000 Naira prize award as the best graduating student in mechanical engineering, despite achieving a stellar GPA of 4.80 out of 5.0. While sharing the news on X, he posted a photo of himself with his certificate. His tweet reads, "Yesterday I received the sum of 5,000 Naira as the award for best graduating student in mechanical engineering at the University of Benin for the 2021-2022 academic session." having graduated with a CGPA of 4.0. I mean, Dr. Abati, I can't even believe this story. When I saw this story, 5,000 naira, I mean, what is he again? What's his university again? Well, Great Malabite. Great Malabite, University of Calabar. I want to ask you people, is this what happens here? 5,000 naira.
Yeah. You see, when these things were said in many of these universities, once upon a time, 5,000 naira was a lot in this country. And if they gave a best graduating student in a department an envelope of 5,000 naira, it made a lot of sense. But what has happened in this country is that there are many things that need to be reviewed that have not been reviewed.
Yes.
So what we can say is that the University of Benin, the Senate or the council accommodates everybody, should see this story that is now out in the public domain and see the need to revise it and say, well, 5,000 naira is not even up to $3.
Yes.
Can they buy up to a loaf of bread?
I actually thought it was $5,000 at first. Am I reading this thing properly?
It can be reviewed. But the thing about it also, about academic excellence, you don't necessarily measure it in monetary terms.
Yeah.
It's about the recognition. It's about the distinction. It's the fact that this person stands out.
Yes,
you know, and is an example for others. But in a country where, you know, people will cook overnight, I don't want to mention names. They will say they are doing marathon cooking. They will become sudden multimillionaires with people giving them gifts, giving them things. You know, in a country where somebody will sashay on the wrong way, and you know, the beauty queen is given vehicles and all that.
Yes.
But the man of intellect, the man who is you know, who is very bright, then gets a miserable 5,000 naira.
All right.
You know,
can we just please applaud this young man? Can we applaud this young man?
It can be a better
Director,
thing.
Please put up his picture. There he is. He needs to be snatched up by, you know, companies out there. I mean, he's a brilliant young man who deserves more than 5,000 naira. Congratulations, congratulations.
It's just common sense.
Yes.
Even if the law was issued, they should be ashamed.
Even the
vice chancellor out of his pockets can give more.
I'm not putting it in the certificate.
And I put 5,000, I say, because it was a common. I just want to make common sense according to the common sense.
Well done, Ayo. Well, all right. In the same vein, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, paid an unannounced visit to Queen's College Yaba on Monday. Alausa shared a video of his visit on his X handle, highlighting his commitment to monitoring the quality of education and facilities in government schools. He emphasized the importance of providing a conducive learning environment for all students. I mean, I saw this video, I loved it. I mean, who went to Queen's College here? Did you? I thought you did. I actually took it because I thought you were a QC girl. No. But I think this is such a great way to show your involvement in the education sector, which is one of the most important sectors in Nigeria. We'll take our final story in the United States, where President-elect Donald Trump has suggested that he will free January 6 rioters in response to President Joe Biden pardoning his son. Biden had pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, in a statement released on Sunday, saying that his son had been singled out and selectively and unfairly persecuted due to his family name. Trump, in his first public comments since the pardon, wrote on Truth Social, "Does the pardon given by Joe to Hunter include the J6 hostages who have now been in prison for years? Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice." I mean, this is a huge story trending. Rufai, quickly, before we end what's trending today on this pardon.
You see, we have argued it.
Okay.
Said,
what did I say?
He has to do it because of his son and everything.
Wait, that Biden had to do the
because
pardon,
of his son.
Family,
the boy is a repeat offender.
This is what we've seen. We've seen the
boy will do it. And so, all the question I'm asking them is that if after this pardon and the Papa leave presidency and the boy go and down again, repeat offense again, will you pardon him again?
Yes.
The boy has not changed. The boy has a lot of shenanigans. That's why Biden had to pardon for the last 10 years. All the atrocities he committed in...
I guess he's 54.
He's 54 years, but he's still a boy to his father.
His daddy.
He's his father's boy forever. So the boy to his father is not a really good boy. The boy that was his father's boy was the one that passed Joe Biden. But to a large extent, I think that is it because he's a son? Let's not We keep talking about the rule of law, defending rule of law in
Well-
this country. How many people have that power that are close to that?
Right.
If he has done all of this, he should be able to face. He's not even been sentenced yet.
All right.
Should they
Well,
forgive J6?
well, that's
What
the
is it
question
called?
out there. But
No,
those
they should
J6
never
rioters,
forgive
you know
J6.
what
They
they
were
did.
rioters.
But you know that Donald
they
Trump
never
will
forgive,
try to do
Joe
that
Biden,
as well.
Hunter
But you
Biden.
know that Donald Trump is going to be president. I mean, what's going to happen? The guy will be
Why is he
freezing
scared?
right.
Why is he scared?
Well, all right.
Why is he
well,
scared?
all right. We'll continue on the story. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Our viewers, please go on Arise.tv and at Arise TV on X to share your comments on what you want for Christmas. Well, that's all I have for you guys. On What's Trending today, I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you for having stayed to the end of this video. You made me really happy. One more thing, click on the notification bell so anytime I make a video, you will be the first to be notified. See you on the next one.